And this morning, hundreds of Midlands residents, they're waking up without power due to the recent ice storm, and some are hoping that they don't last much longer.
That's right. So Avery Wilkes with the Energy Co-op of South Carolina on the phone to talk about when we may see that power come back on. And so here in the Midlands, things looking pretty good, Avery, but we know it's a much different story for our friends in the upstate, as many of them are dealing with power outages.
Absolutely. If you go back a few days ago, there was a potential for the Midlands to get a half an inch of ice, which would have been potentially catastrophic. You would be looking at potentially hours, maybe even days long outages in the Midlands. And we were spared the bulk of that. There were some outages overnight that affected sometimes a handful of meters, a few dozen meters at a time. There was a substation issue in Kershaw County that knocked out a few hundred customers late yesterday evening. But by and large, these outages in the Midlands have been few and far between and not long lasting. We've been able to get out because the roads are relatively safe and get the power back on. It's a different story, though, in the upstate. We have about 25,000 meters without power across the state right now. Almost all of them are in the upstate of South Carolina, specifically at Blue Ridge Electric Cooperative, which serves that mountainous region, Oconee, Pickens, Greenville counties. So they're in a world of hurt right now. They've got crews out responding, and they've been responding all night. And really, unfortunately, guys, this is the same area that was hit so hard during Hurricane Helene less than 2 years ago. So those folks hopefully won't be without power for too much longer, but that's the area that has suffered the brunt of the storm so far.
Very important there. So, Avery, I want to talk about the importance of folks actually reporting these outages. I know that you said a lot of it is in the upstate this morning. So just talk about the importance of folks actually calling in and reporting it and not just assuming that, you guys know exactly where they are or you guys are on the way just because the power's out.
That's a great point. Our outage systems and system control operations are more sophisticated today than they've ever been. We have lots of, high tech monitoring software, but we also do need people to report outages, in some cases, just to confirm what the data and what the systems and the technology are telling us. In some cases, to tell us about outages that we aren't aware of yet. What I would want to keep clear, though, is please report them through the right channels. If your co-op has a text channel or an app or a website where you can report the outage, do it that way. It's not that helpful for us to report outages on social media or Facebook because that's not where the system operators are working. They need you to use the official channel so they can know exactly what's going on.
And Avery, as things begin to thaw out, we know that there is a possibility for some refreezing as the rain is stopped, but the temperatures are going to be well below freezing. Is there any concern moving forward this week, or do you believe that we're pretty much in the clear now?
I never want to guarantee that we're completely in the clear. There's always the potential for equipment failures, for, as you say, refreeze, and some of the weight that's on these trees and on these power lines. Something could always go wrong. At this stage in the Midlands, what we're looking at is if there's any outages, they're probably going to be isolated, not widespread, and they're going to be able to. Hopefully, we'll be able to restore them quickly. Still, we're obviously advising people to stay vigilant, to stay prepared, to be safe if they have to go out on the roadways, and also to let us know if they see downed power lines and let us know if they're experiencing outages.
And Avery, we know for folks who may be sitting without power and they're watching this on their phone this morning, we know when you are without power, it can seem like an eternity as help is on the way. Want you to kind of send that message that you guys are working around the clock this morning and that help is coming.
Absolutely. If you're sitting without power, we know exactly what that means for you, and we know how hard and difficult that is, especially with the temperatures that we're seeing right now. But you should know that the cavalry is on the way. Even before this storm, co-ops were extremely prepared, amassing a workforce of about 1,600 line workers from around South Carolina and also around the country, with some of our sister co-ops in states as far away as Oregon and Montana and Texas sending help. Some more good news is that as co-ops in the Midlands and on the eastern half of South Carolina are waking up this morning and realizing, seeing that they're in the clear, they're going to be able to send even more mutual aid crews west to the upstate, to the Piedmont area of the state to help out with outage restoration. So anytime you have a storm like this, a lot of times co-ops and utilities in other states, they're going to want to hold on to their crews until the storm passes and they know that they're in the clear. Now that we're at that point for a good number of our 18 co-ops in South Carolina, those co-ops that are done with restoration and can return to normal operations are going to be sending help to the folks who remain without power.
Avery, thank you so much for filling us in on what's been happening and providing throughout the past couple of days some very critical tips to help folks navigate this storm. We appreciate you. We appreciate the crews who have been working. Thank you so much. And hopefully we don't have to talk to you for a while. That's the goal. We want things to be smooth and steady.
Love you guys, but likewise.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks so much, Avery.